Thank you, Sarah and Ann, and everyone from WLAA for asking WEM to speak tonight about our flooding response and how we use GIS for the first time in Wisconsin Emergency Management, because I was just hired in January. I came from the DNR in dams and floodplain, so I'm used to a more methodical approach, and this is all about quick and situational awareness, and it's been a learning experience, and we've had a couple other ones to learn from and apply to. Just yesterday, another federal declaration was announced for the western and central Wisconsin flooding. And after this flooding in July that you guys experienced up here, 2 weeks later, Buffalo and Trempealeau got nailed really badly. It was not federally declared, it was a smaller area, but we are seeing severe weather increasing. And it is easy for us to plan for what had already happened. And I'm constantly thinking, and I need all of you guys to put on your thinking caps of outside the box and what is coming that we don't know about. It's always different. These emergencies are always different. So right here is a picture during a briefing. This is what the EOC looks like. So I woke up Tuesday morning, sunny skies down in Madison. I think it was probably sunny skies already up here too. The damage happened in the nighttime. So our EOC gets ramped up, and I just wanted to show you, this is very calm, but it is packed. So we are paying attention, we're listening to all the county emergency directors calling in, reporting on damages, reporting on what they need for assistance, what resources they need, and we're going around to the 9 different tribes. There were 2 of them that were heavily impacted, and I'm excited to hear what Susie has to say with Bad River, and then the 9 different counties, because we have to know what is happening in this wide area up north. So as soon as our briefing is done, and there we have our ArcGIS online map, the dark line that you can see, that's the detour route that was put in place. As soon as this is done and the briefings are done, all these people are standing up. What's going on? What do we need? And it feels like a lot of them are coming to us at GIS because they love this technology and it is new to them in many ways. And so there's been a learning process that I have to continue to do of what we can and cannot do in an emergency, because they kind of see it as magic and that we just have all the answers of where are roads closed, where is the hazmat team, where did the train derail. I'm like, I can find out, but I don't know instinctually to answer those questions. So here we go. Here's no legend. That is a lot of what they were dealing with before, is just grabbing map images where they could, doing the best they could. Purple is a lot, okay? So our duty officer and our public information officer, they're on the front lines. They're getting reports from counties, tribes, and local governments of damages immediately. And they're reporting it in. They realize we have to elevate to a level 3. 1 is very bad, apocalypse 2008, let's say. 5 is steady state. So we start as a level 2. I'm asked right away, where are the roads closed? What is going on? Okay, so we go down into the SEOC, that room that I showed you. Within 2 hours, I'm overwhelmed and I call in Dwight. Dwight has a GIS background. He works for the radiological program. So we start manning the GIS stations down there. And we realize as the sun comes up and the counties are reporting that this needs to get elevated to a level 2. And by we, I mean the EOC managers and the people in charge. So Governor Walker declares a state of emergency that day. This comes into play, the presidential declaration happens within a month, and I wanted to bring that up now because it was a pretty quick turnaround, and we used later on. So we're right now in response. What is happening? How can we help? The counties are getting overwhelmed. And let me speak to that. That doesn't mean that the counties are not prepared. It only speaks to the size of the storm. This was a massive event. and the scale of it. So they can't share resources. Everybody is all hands on deck if they can even get to work. And here's a cool quote. GIS was mentioned in the letter from Walker to President Obama, talked about that. What helped us get that declaration, which is all about money, within a month, is that we also use the Collector app and damage assessments, and we're able to have pictures geotagged with monetary damage and locations right afterwards. So the EOC was open for 2 weeks straight, and then it switched right from response into recovery, and that's where the damage assessment goes. And now it's still in recovery phase for up there, and it's switching to mitigation, and we just are going through this whole process with central and western Wisconsin right now. So the first thing, so this is my first emergency. We have to let people know what's going on. We have to let emergency managers in the counties and in the field know what's happening to the best of our ability. It's about sharing information and situational awareness for the people who are making decisions in the EOC, in Madison. So we have an ArcGIS online account, and we ramp up a common operating picture. So here you go, here it is static. And we just start filling that in. Right away, roads closed, that's what everyone wants to know about, and it's critical. So that is a critical infrastructure, and we, to the best of our ability, and you know what it is? It's analog data. It is literally, people are coming to us with paper. DOT is coming to us, State Patrol is coming to us. Emails are flying in saying this road is closed from here to here, or this road is closed, and it's like, okay, it's time consuming, but we're already figuring out how to cut that down. And we're starting to just map through a hosted feature service right on our ArcGIS online account. It also becomes pretty clear early on that, so these first responders are brilliant people, and they know how to save lives and handle an emergency or situation. GIS is not in their world. Technology and there are people that are uncomfortable with this, and so this is all mobile and very useful, but we have to get them friendly. So we create this splash screen of you have the capability to turn on and off these layers. We have a lot of layers in this common operating picture. We can't have them all on, it would be a mess. That is a mess, right? We have camera pictures, camera icons. Once we start flying around, you click on one of those, you can get the aerial imagery from a Civil Air Patrol or flight. You have road closure data, you have where the EOCs are located. A lot of people want to know about that. Ashland had to be relocated into the parking lot because their EOC was flooded. They were in the courthouse prior to that. Where are shelters? All of that information is in that map. We were collaborating with DNR. Where are the campgrounds? People were camping up north. Where are quarries? So we created a splash screen to try and encourage people sitting in the EOC and the first responders to take control and realize you can't break this, you can't mess this up, you have control to zoom into the area that you want. If you were working in Washburn, go to Washburn and see what's happening there. But we're going to give you the big picture because there are people that need to see it all too, to figure out where to send resources. So there's a lot of education that still needs to be done on that. This is all open viewer. This may change. Each emergency is going to be different, whether it can be open to the public or if it's going to be password protected or really kept internal. It all depends on what the emergency is. And we just won't know until we're there. So we start this online webpage with it, and then we need help from other people. All those stations from that picture of what the EOC looked like, that was DOT, DNR is in there, Department of Health, I believe DATCAP was called in, State Patrol was called in, Red Cross was called in, and then we had Air Ops, which we'll get into a little bit later on. So we are getting layers from people who know the data. Assisted living, nursing homes, hospitals not so much, but a little bit, changed constantly. So Andy Swartz with DHS, we got a new layer in from them that we streamed right in. That was important because the only road to one of the only hospitals up here that you guys have was gone. So how are we going to get patients to this hospital? We ended up having to create flight paths because people have to get to the hospital. At this point, towards the end of the week, I'm finally connected with Bayfield, and you guys have had an awesome online map as well the entire time. Initially, we started off by just looking at a map and like trying to replicate it, and there's no time for that. The more efficient we become, the better, because we're getting slammed with requests of what is happening, where things are going on. What does it look like? We need to know what it looks like. Legislature, I'll mention this really quickly, because we are getting prepared also to tell this story to the governor, to the adjunct general, and other cabinet level members for their flights, and they want to know political lines, whose districts are being affected. So we reached out with the Legislative Bureau, and they were great with, telling us where the rest end services are. And then we're dealing with, there was a tornado. It was an EF0, but still we have to look at it. We don't know. You just hear when you wake up in the morning and you're headed into the EOC, there's a tornado in Chippewa. What does that mean? What does that look like? So we go to National Weather Service. They have their data online. And then we have LIDAR from Ayres that is helping with response and recovery. And I'm excited to hear more about that as well. So we are reacting, and we are going by the seat of our pants. We have our web viewer that everyone is welcome to look at. And then we start doing these map tours with images, because that helps with decision making. That helps that helps the decision makers, the EOC managers get an understanding of what is happening in the ground, how things are changing. National Weather Service is using this as a predictive tool for the flood forecasting that they're doing with their river gauges. People are picking up on this, and the media and the PIO are loving it. It's helping them with their job. It's helping them communicate the severity of the damage. But as you can tell, these are a lot. This is a lot. We're like making one. Okay, we get a new set in, different area, same area. We tried to organize the best that we could, but we are going to work on making it a lot more seamless. So here's our first example of the story map tour, Ayres County, and that's Saxon Harbor. That was really nailed very hard. A gentleman lost his life there. It was decimated. Ayres County was hit like all of you guys were up here. One of the things with Ayres County at that harbor, no telecommunication capability. So our BEOC, our business EOC, was activated as well. Water, bug spray was needed. They have contacts with Walgreens and other places. Our BOC manager got in touch with Verizon. They needed a satellite, because then these guys in response who were trying to search for the yachts, the boats, they were able to get a satellite responder up there efficiently. We had to make a map for them. How do they get from Minneapolis to there with this rig without being turned around? Road signage we got feedback that there was not a lot of road signage. You'd start down one road, and then when you'd hit the hole, oh, it's closed. Well, that's great. Now I got to go back around. Like, there's no time for that, right? Here's another example, Bayfield. So we use these story maps during briefings. When the counties are calling in, the emergency managers, that is what road closed means for Bayfield County. That is also where, in the briefing, we were told that a woman drove into that and died. That gives the responders insight as well as to what is going on here. This is a rural area, and so it took a while to get information about the damage. People couldn't get to these roads right away. So these aerial flights were critical. During these briefings, we kept on finding out, or we kept on hearing, we don't know what's going on in this township at all. we hear that 63 is damaged, or 13 was really bad, but we don't know. How do we get this? So the aerial response was very important during this event. And I had to look up, we have a Washburn County story map, and you guys had a lot of damage too. 77 was really hit. So we tried to sort through these images, but at some point we're throwing them all in these story maps, and then we're just gonna tell you, this is your county, this is your area, what's important to you, how can it help you with situational awareness? It's your call. You make those decisions. So talking about roads closed, what does that mean? This is in Hayward. I do not, emergency management does not encourage people driving through water at any means. So this is going through downtown. That's road closed. Yes, that is road closed too, right? So that helps people making decisions. Where do we need roadblocks? Where do we need guards? Like literally at the edge of this. When that woman drove into that box culvert, there was somebody stationed there. That's a resource. So we're maintaining all this online. Everyone wants to know immediately, and they want to know on the go. But I kind of forgot. We still need paper maps. We need paper maps because the guard, when they're off flying, they prefer paper maps, and then with the governor, like I had said. So we're doing all this stuff online, and we're barely keeping up with creating these feature layers and these story map tours and sorting out the images. And then we have people ready to fly, they want to know where to go, and we're trying to listen to where people have been reporting, where they need more information, where it's been covered. So this right here, Chippewa County, there's the little tornado spot, and then we were getting a lot of feedback in Iron and Ashland. At this stage, this is a couple days later, we still don't know what's going on. In Marengo, in Mellon, Marengo, people were cut off, both ends. My friend's family was up there, couldn't get the milk truck out. These are people's livelihoods. Here's a tornado path that we got. We briefly took a look at it. It didn't seem to have much impact. We can move on from that, but we're still creating, people still need to know, managers need to know, emergency responders need to know whether this is a concern or not. Governor's flight. So we get a heads up. The governor's not going to run past our schedule when we have time for this. Wheels up, 45 minutes. We need a binder of maps of what is going on up north. Okay, we've been working online this whole time. Like, holy cow. So after our look of horror subsided, we started snipping, copying, pasting some of the storybook maps because they're in the helicopter. Online doesn't work. There's no Wi-Fi when they're up there. Here's a congressional district map, assembly district, state senate, and then US as well, if they prefer. This wasn't the intention, but it worked out really well. The pilot, nobody told him where to go. So he ended up using our maps with the lat long and where the roads closed were as a guide for him. And so now ever since then, that is what we use to help with where to send the cabinet people. Right here is the map that we made. I threw in USNG with aerial. It is still lat long. Ground response. FEMA has, said that it really should be in USNG, but if people don't know that language, it's not going to go anywhere. So I'm trying to do both right now. I put these slides on a timer to keep moving along. So this is the landing spot that we were asked to create for the helicopter for transporting patients close to the hospital. They had to get over Highway 2, and that was, Highway 2 was, a waterfall for a couple days. So these are just a couple of the maps that we're churning out while we're maintaining everything online. AirOps. This became a huge operation and request and desire. We had close to 1,400 images submitted. DNR, DOT, State Patrol, and Guard, their RC-26, and Civil Air Patrol were all in the air, wanting to get in the air, helping out. You know, State Patrol had their own reasons. They had their primary purpose, but wanted to share the data with us. Same with DNR. They were checking out campgrounds, dams, but were taking pictures as well and getting it to us if they could. So Civil Air Patrol, great website. They have images up from, you know, Hurricane Matthew right now. We were able to get on that website easily and mass upload their images and then try and sort those out. This ended up being, like, figuring out how to get a lot of images to us that are geotagged is a work in progress. DNR and DOT and State Patrol currently don't have the capability to geotag their photos. So we would get pictures with just like along Highway 113. That's, you know, that's a big highway. Like, where? People need to know where. And people are coming to our desk all the time. Where is this happening? Where do I go now to? So we are looking at a new software program to us called DART, D-A-A-R-T. We have an AirOps work group meeting. We're going to unveil like our plan at the governor's conference. We're going to do some tabletop exercises. We're looking at this DART as a container for all these images. So you guys are at the field, you're going to work, you're turning on your GPS on your phone, you're taking pictures. That is critical, that is really useful, and then emailing it to us at the EOC to help out. All of that stuff is incredibly useful to the decision makers. It seems like nothing to us. Well, yeah, it's like, oh, it's just a photo. No, it goes a long way. We're also working on a resource guide. What kind of cameras do these guys need, people need? And then AirOps. So, you know, Guard is coming to me directly asking, where do I fly? We're ready to go. And I'm like, okay, I'll make you a map. We're moving away from that because on GIS, I should not be making those decisions, right? So in a big event, we're gonna have Eugene Essex come in, and he's gonna be handling AirOps. There's ceiling heights they have to look at. There's all kinds that Tiffany could probably speak to much better about that. And we're also working on, here's another kicker. So DOT that's staffed in the EOC, DNR that's staffed in the EOC, they're not GIS people. They don't know GIS capabilities. They don't know like oblique versus photogrammetric, right? So we have to create these quick checklists and descriptions of what your agency is capable of. So when you hear that there's an emergency, you can reach back and get to Tiffany or get to Mitch, because they didn't hear about it, you know, until our general emails went out about, hey, this is what's going on, check out these websites. So there's a lot of connecting of the dots. GIS is newer to the management world. So we have AirOps, we're figuring that out. Once we're dealing with 2 to 3+ aircraft response, Eugene is gonna come in and he's gonna be taking over that. GIS response, you know, reports to planning, and then to the EOC manager. 2 weeks straight, we're working, and then it's time to switch right over into, we have to start looking at recovery efforts. And so damage assessments. I was making maps for the Guard, so Dwight did the heavy lifting with the Collector app, and then we created a dashboard app so the people in Madison or anywhere else can monitor when the people came out from the back into the field, synced up the data. Oh, look at these numbers jumping up. Like, this looks like this is a federal disaster. We're hitting these markers. It was quick, seamless container. Now, we are an Android shop, and we ran into a little bit of problem with the feature layer, that it was not easily hosted through ArcGIS Online. Once we put it on our DMA server, then it seemed to work fine. So we're going with that right now, but this was all, we're gonna look back and see what we can do a little bit more seamlessly and figure out what some of these errors were. So some of the lessons learned: keep it simple. Analyst side, I want it to be precise. I want detail. They don't care about that. Where is the road closed? Give me a line with a big old red on it, you know? They don't care how many miles per se it is. They want a quick visual picture because they have to go on and make decisions and what is the next best thing. Another way we're going to keep it simple is we are not going to be creating so many story maps. We are switching to a portal that will give us the ability to manage size a little bit easier. So we are looking at using like a different template, story map journal, where we can put a bunch of different maps into one like container map, right? So because people aren't going to be scrolling through at the bottom of WEM's management page and clicking links. I want them to see a map right away or a picture right away. Right away, so the plan moving forward is we are going to create common operating picture, open it up ideally, and then email staff. Email you guys, our GIS people. They were thrilled when we reached out to GIS staff to ask you guys for the data layers. You're on the ground here. You know the local roads best and what is happening best. If we can put those feature layers into the common operating picture, and then everybody is pulling it into that one location, we can focus on other tasks that are going on. We got to wrap it up. Okay, here we go. So I can't make independent decisions anymore, such as flight paths. So we're working on standard operating procedure. You know, we talk with State Patrol and the TOPS and the STOC. They have 511. It's not Esri shop right now. We had many different places of where do you find out where roads are closed, for example. We have a new ICS system, so stay tuned for that. That is going to be integrating with our GIS data. And we are looking at surge capacity, because when the big one hits, whatever that looks like, we're going to need to bring in other people to help us directly in the EOC, and then still need you guys out in the field as well. So with that, I'll pass.